Peace, love, and power, family. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? Today is the day. Going to be talking about healing through raising our vibration with an absolutely amazing guest today. I'm just in awe right now in life in general, and you know, having Jose on here with us as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm just I'm just truly grateful. So I've sent you the request, Jose. So let me see. I'm gonna send it to you again. See if you can jump on. But yeah, guys, I hope you've all had great weekends as well. Peace, love, and power. You know, today's chat is gonna be very practical. It's gonna be about raising our frequency. It's gonna be about yes. Oh, saying that he's unable to join. Let's see, go live, accept the request. This always happens. This always happens for some reason at the beginning, but don't worry, guys. It will work in the end. And yeah, it's gonna be powerful. Oh, okay.
We
Are
are
you here?
alive.
We are live. For some reason, I can't see you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you and I can hear you as well.
Okay, so we'll do it this way. For some reason, I'm just looking at screen, but as long as you can see me and it transfers well, we'll operate like that.
Really,
Um,
you cannot see me.
I can't unless you want to jump off and jump back on, but I think we should keep it going. Let me just go into the chat. Can everybody else in the chat see both of us, or can you just see me? So if you put into the chat, if you can see both of us, I'll continue. If you can only see myself, then of course we'll restart because everything looks fine on our sides. Okay, perfect. Perfect. How are you? Firstly, let's start off. How are you? How have you been? I've been excited to meet you, so and have this live. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm Dario. I was eager to have this live, of course, with you.
Mhm.
We met actually recently in the
Yes.
Canaries. We had like a great conversation. So yeah, I was just like eager to have some time together to share some wisdom between us
Mhm.
among people, and yeah, that's the most important thing. And maybe we can help someone else
Mhm.
there that is in the same journey and in the journey of healing as well, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, yeah.
Perfect. So guys, I'm gonna give you a little bit of, an introduction to Jose because honestly, he blew my mind. I went to Gran Canaries and he was on stage talking, and the first thing they said to me, my friends that brought me, that's like, you're gonna like this guy. He's just like you, right? And the first thing I saw him talking about was energy and frequency, about modern medicine and how it deals with the body. And so it's dealing with the effects of things that have already happened in a higher frequency, which is then downloaded into our bodies. So in essence, it's almost like it's gone bad already, when it's physically manifested. And he was talking about raising our frequency so that we are actually dealing with a lot of these issues before it even becomes a physical manifestation. And again, very science based, very practical things that we could use, talking about how much water is in the body and the importance of it. And, when he finished, I just said, yes, no matter what, I need to have a real chat with him about this so that we can, put our knowledges together as well. Because everyone knows me, I'm a spiritual guy, astrology, but then having that science base as well, which is important to me, but you just taking it to a completely another level. Um, so yeah, I wanted to start off with a very, out there question. How can someone actually raise their frequency if he was to give it a general rule?
Okay. So let's start for understanding what is the three main causes that actually we saw at the event. Okay. The three main causes for us to actually lower the vibration is like the
Mm-hmm.
main thing we need to understand first. Okay. Because
Yeah.
actually we need to do the opposite. So we need to remember is the nutritional deficiencies, okay, that we have,
Mm-hmm.
okay, excess of toxins,
Mm-hmm.
and also electromagnetic chaos. We as human beings, we create these kind of things in the physical and also etherical world, okay? It's not, once we are talking, for example, about nutritional deficiencies, it's just not in the physical world with
Mm-hmm.
matter, okay? It's not about nutrients. Yeah, of course, that's super important. But also we have nutritional deficiencies related to feelings and thoughts
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes we're not even aware of that, okay? We are actually consuming energy, okay, consuming nutrients through that level. And people
Mm-hmm.
are more aware of the consumption of nutrients in the physical world, but not as much as in the etherical, okay, or energetical world. This is super important,
Mm-hmm.
super important. So by doing these three things and working on them, we can actually rise our vibration. I'm gonna repeat it again. We consume the majority of our energy through nutritional deficiencies, excess of toxins, and electromagnetic chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If we want to sum up this, that will be like for all of them, what we are doing is just consuming our own energy, okay, by not working on them. This is what happened. It's the same. It's the same, for example, once we have the condition, like we know the calories that we want to consume,
Mm-hmm.
or like people like they follow diet and all these
Yeah.
things. We also should have diets as well in the energetic world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And people don't see, because they cannot see from their eyes. They don't give the value that actually
Mm-hmm.
these kind of things have.
100%. 100%. And I really want to kind of like zone in on the three things that he was talking about. So it was nutritional deficiencies, right? And this is both physical, mental, and emotional. I would add in all three of those bodies
Yeah.
personally when I talk about these things. And then we have an excess of toxins, right? And again, think mentally, physically, and emotionally. And then we have electromagnetic
Chaos.
disturbance, or chaos, right? And what I'm understanding from that, and with my own personal practice and what I try to work with people, is that we need to come to a place where we're not damaging ourselves mentally, emotionally, and physically, so we can actually use that energy to raise up where we are, to tap into higher levels. But we've been taught by the system, by focusing on things like sugars, simple carbs, all of these fructose stuff that they're putting in our foods, feeding our minds with violence, all of the time, disconnecting us from our families, things like lockdown, etc. And just the way that the system keeps, parents away from their children at a young age, etc. Things that, feed us emotionally. When we are not doing these things, the body, because it's so efficient, right, it will use the energy that's within us, and each one of our cells has, a voltage. So there's enough energy inside of our bodies to actually charge a city, right? The energy, rather than it being used to help us be better human beings, is actually being used to heal ourselves, right? So what I'm getting from that is, if we start to remove these things, start to remove the negative thoughts, the negative emotions, the electromagnetic chaos that is around us, and the nutritional deficiencies, again, on all levels, the energy that's within us is free. Because
Yeah.
and definitely tell me if you agree
Yeah.
with this. I think the
Yeah.
natural state of the universe is abundance, love, bliss, pleasure. I think that's the actual natural state of the universe. The thing that keeps us away from living in these things is that we've actually got blockages that are in the way of us being in our natural state.
Yeah.
So
Exactly, exactly. Just to add something, like, yeah, thank you for sharing. It's like spot on. Even about the energy way, for us to understand even in more scientific way. Once we say about the blocks, what we have in electricity is resistance. So the resistance, we create the resistance by just putting a negative thought or a negative feeling, or even like something in our body that will create a resistance for that energy to flow. That's why it's completely related. All these kind of things are completely related to aging, diseases. Everything is related to this. It's because the energy doesn't flow properly. If we want to go to even like an atomic way, it's just what is happening. So medicine, if we see medicine from an energetic perspective, we can understand even better about medicine. Because so far, what we have seen in medicine, and please, I want to highlight this, I do believe like our medicine can be used, okay, is needed, okay, is needed, but I think we are not using it in a conscious way at all, okay? It's needed for urgent things, for something that maybe like we, of course, sometimes we need it, okay? Even someone who is like a rise, like in a really high vibration, sometimes we all can go down, in a certain point in our lives and all the things. But the more we work in energy medicine, the less we will need our Western medicine, okay? Our current medicine, let's put it into this way. It's just like a level of consciousness. The more we raise up our level of consciousness, the less we need medicine working in matter. Because
100%.
we become more energy. We are more aware of energy, and we actually prevent things to pass from energy to matter. That's the main thing.
Yes. I'm really loving what you're saying, because it's the balance. It's not that we are condemning one way. It's that we're saying that we may be over reliant on that. And how I see it is that, based on what you were saying, is that because we've almost forgotten how we're meant to be operating as humans, which is energetics, right? I think in the Bible it says things like, it's not a battle of flesh and blood, but about principalities and powers, right? And this is really talking about the power that's within us, the principles that we use and what we live by. If we focus on that, we focus on the principles, we will avoid having to use the traditional medicine, which should be used. If you get hit by a car, you fall over and you break a leg,
Exactly.
you're going to need traditional medicine, right? Maybe some people
Exactly.
can meditate that away, but most people are going to need, some form of help and support in the physical at times, because that's a part of the journey. Another great thing that you was talking about is that we go up and down, because it's a cyclical relationship that we have in the universe, just like we have day and night. So as much as we will raise our frequency, right, there's going to be times naturally where the frequency will fall as well, and we're going to be dealing more with matter. I personally work with the moon. I work with moon cycles. So I know there's times when my energy is really high, when the moon is in my sun sign, for example. Times like this, I hardly eat. That's the truth. I will eat very little. I meditate. I pray more. I work more with my energetics of my body, right? Because I know at that particular moment, the water in my body is highly charged. It's highly energized. But then it moves out of that. And then I deal more with matter, right? There's certain principles that I have that follow through. But understanding that cyclical nature helps me to work and use the energy to, rather than it doing this, it's doing this up,
Yeah.
and you're seeing better results over time. So I wanted to ask you, Jose, as well, what sort of things do you see happening moving forward? What sort of techniques would you say you would suggest for people to use to be able to raise their frequency?
Yeah. Let's start from the body. Of course, if we are more focused on our food, and actually, for example, I just wanted to also highlight this. I don't follow any diet. What I do is every day, I connect with myself as much as possible, and it's also a training for me to understand what my body needs. Okay, this I mean, I don't recommend this to someone who's starting, because maybe you need a diet. Okay, you need a diet to understand maybe what your body needs. But normally, what I do is just connect with my body, just asking myself, what do I need today? Okay, this is super important. Your body will start like giving you some actually messages of what you request inside. Okay, because following a diet help you, but actually if you want to transcend, a barrier, you need to connect with your body. And of course a diet can help you to actually connect with your body. That's perfect. But you can ask every day, what do I need to consume today? That's super important. You start connecting with yourself, okay, in the matter side. First of all will be this, of course, the main things, the consumption of sugar, alcohol, drugs, all these things are gonna become resistance for your body in an energetic way. So of course, processed food, all these things, I already just imagine that people are taking care of this. Okay, if not, we actually remind them. But this is super important, super important. Of course, soft drinks and all the things, everything that contains sugar, it will become a resistance in your body. Okay.
Yes.
So that's completely. I want to be completely clear on this. Let's put some examples as well for our more energetic world. Okay, energetic world. Taking care of what we think and what we feel, and understanding that this is way more even real than what we might believe. Okay, is essential for you not getting toxins in your body in an energetic way. Let's think about this, or also feel about this, and actually we are gonna remind ourselves, you and I as well, about this every time, because we, like, we are talking about this, and we also have our own negative belief and our negative thoughts, and we need to work on that, because sometimes people believe like we are talking about these kind of things and we never have a negative belief. Of course we have. Of course we have. But we train every single day on just transform that feeling or that thought. Okay? So this transformation is essential for us to apply every day. Every time, the more we work on that, the more we are aware of when this comes, we are swifting.
Yes.
Okay, same as what we have, for example, we're eager to eat something like with sugar, okay? Like, I don't know, like a donuts or whatever. It's the same, on that moment, you make the decision. I'm making this decision for nutrition, or I'm making this decision for pleasure, Like, that's the priority you're gonna give. And that's actually the key point for you to transcend that situation. The same happens if we extrapolate this into thoughts and feelings. Okay?
Yeah.
This is essential. Okay? Essential. If we want to go further than that, you want to go further?
I want you to feel comfortable to flow. Don't let me resist your energy right now. Go with it. I'm learning as well.
Okay. So if we want to go further than that, before jumping into the next step, something that actually helped me a lot and is something essential for our thoughts and our feelings is to work in every single attachment that we have with other people, partners, family members, friends, everything. I want people to understand that even if you don't see what is going on between you and someone else, there is a link there is a link, there is a connection,
Mhm.
it's an etherical connection, energetic connection that actually is giving you energy
Yeah.
or is consuming energy from you.
Hmm.
Okay? Same that's happened, for example, between connections in electricity, connection that we have at home, in a power plant, everything, okay, we connect 2 points with a cable.
Hmm.
That also happen between people.
Hmm.
But we don't see it. That's why like we don't pay so much attention and you say, wow, like I have this issue with someone, like I don't care, or yeah, whatever. That will create that the cable will actually consume even more energy from you and you're not even aware.
Hmm.
This is what we call, for example, in an energetic world, is like the virus or bacteria from an energetic world. That's happened and it's real.
Yep. Very real, guys. Very real.
Okay. Yeah. Like you say in English, parasite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Parasite. Yeah.
Okay. Remember this. This is exactly a parasite. This is what's happened.
Hmm.
We might not see from our eyes, but it's there. And again, guys, we are just seeing, like using science, we are seeing 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay. The
Hmm.
spectrum of light, just 1%. Just
Yeah.
1%. Same what's happened once we see water. Okay, once we see water, like it's the same.
Hmm.
It's way more underneath that we have no idea. It's the same for you to actually visualize what we can see. Okay.
Hmm. So, do you mind if I jump in as well?
Of
Because
course, of course, of course. I want you to give your point of view, to review with what we have been talking. I love when you review it. Seriously.
no worries, Joe. Because I'm just getting so much downloads. When you're speaking, I'm actually, applying it to myself and seeing it as well. So I just want to say thank you. And, one of the things, like some of the routes that I take, it's more of a bottom up approach for me personally. I start working with the body, just for me. And I think what you was talking about, for example, is, the sugar thing, guys. I know we said, there's no one size fits all, but sugar, especially simple processed sugars, we do not, it responds in the body as a poison. It improves inflammation, right? And then you get insulin sensitive. So basically, it just shuts off your body's ability to produce energy. And again, what we're talking about is energy. So when it comes to the sugars, I always say is that you should try to get a high protein and fats diet, and you should also eat less. When I say eat less, it's not even talking about the amount you actually consume, right? Because there might be a certain amount of calories that you need, but it's try not to eat so much in the day. We're in a culture now where there's no focus on the internal mechanisms of the body to be able to give you energy. So, if you're always eating, your body never goes into a fasted state as unless when you're sleeping. But some people are waking up eating and then they're, waking up middle of the night and eating, so you don't go for a window. But if you give yourself 14 to 16 hours when you don't eat anything, your body actually produces something called human growth factor, right? And your body starts to detox as well. So all of the bad cells that are in your body get cleaned out. So what was he saying before? Jose was talking about toxins, right? And excess of toxins and nutritional deficiencies in the body. So giving yourself a time to fast, right? And again, asking your body what it actually needs. Jose is giving you real game here. Looking at what your cravings are and then going and saying, okay, I'm going to find a healthy way to find these things. So little things like chocolate, right? If you're craving chocolate, what I found for myself, right? What's in chocolate that's healthy that your body actually needs? You've got magnesium and you've got zinc, right? But if your body doesn't know where to get these things in a healthy place, it's going to seek the unhealthy. Sugar, simple sugar. Sometimes you might just be lacking in energy, right? Because again, we move around. So sometimes we need simple sugars. But rather than going for the sweet, go for a fruit, right? These are some of the simple changes that we can do so that we can, you know, raise our frequency, because the body is, you know, so amazing, right? Like if you observe
Biotech,
the body, yes,
biotech.
yes, it's such a great machine, right? And when you listen to the body, again, things you could use to listen to the body is meditation, right? Take 10 minutes of your day just to sit and listen, right? What starts to happen is that your body does start to tell you, oh, I'm meant to eat. You know, sometimes you might get little rumbles in our stomachs, right? We all hear it, but then we've got this diet, like Jose was saying, or we usually eat at this time, but the body's kind of telling you it needs a break. And we don't listen to that at times. What then happens is your body actually falls out of love with your mind, because we believe that we are the body. That's what we've been taught. But we're actually spirits animating a body. Your body is a beautiful city of, you know, organs and cells and gut biome and all of these different things. All of these things are fighting, right, within the body, right, to get to your mind, right, based on the thoughts that you think, and again, the people that you're connecting to. So when you learn to listen to the body by giving it space and trust to say it doesn't need to eat all the time, you don't need external things because there's so much energy within the body. What starts to happen is the body then trusts you and it starts to speak to you
Mm.
because you've shown trust to your body. You know, and for me, I call that the marrying of the masculine and feminine energies within us, because I think the feminine is just the body itself, so the physical body, earth in astrology, and then our emotions. Our emotions are just biochemical reactions that are happening within the body, within the bloodstream, and that's water in astrology. When you marry that up with your ability, right, to have thought, which is air in astrology, and then the energy that is naturally within us, which is the fire in astrology, what you get is a beautiful union when all of them are working together towards a goal that is set not by your mind, but by your spirit. And spirit was the fifth element. It's not any of them, it's the fifth element, it's the center of the horoscope, for example. And another thing that Odie was talking about was connections, these connections that we have to people. When you have unprocessed emotions towards another person, over time, this traumatizes the body, because the nervous system, right, every time you sense an emotion, the nervous system wants to go back to a place called homeostasis. Homeostasis is not happiness. We're taught to seek happiness. Homeostasis is not happiness, it's peace,
Mm.
right? It's a stillness. That's
Yeah.
where energy kind of flows. That's where there's no resistance, right? Because what the
Mm.
body does is, as you get a heightened emotion, the body will plunge it into the opposite. It has to do that, right? To compensate for the energy that it's used. So it goes like this. But when you're at a state of peace, right, a state of stillness, a state of being fasted, for example, right, the body then is able to use the natural energy that is in it, because it's not using the energy for external things, trying to get itself back to this
Mm.
equilibrium, which is peace. And this is why alcohol, sugars, drugs, things that force our bodies to go into heightened states without us doing the work, right? Because obviously you
Exactly.
can you can get the same thing if you dance. I was at my friend's party yesterday and I danced until I was physically high.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you get the buzz, you know, around good people. The body, it metabolizes that better, because it's like this is a result of what the body done.
Yeah.
Not I've taken something external and forced the body to feel a certain way. Whenever we're doing that, we're stealing from ourselves. And that's what we need to
Hmm.
realize. You know, we're stealing from our ability to be able to do these
Exactly.
things ourselves. And then we connect to people, right? Because that person, right, again, it's like a drug. They might force us to feel love. But the truth is, you should only be attached to people because of the love you feel for yourself, the peace you feel for yourself, the safety within your nervous system that you feel for yourself. That state should be able to align you with people that help you to feel safe, help you to feel calm, help you to feel
Mm.
peace. That should be the basis of your relationship. because that's what the body truly seeks. And then when you're connected to people because of an emotion, you don't process that, right? Then the body is always going back to that place, right? We've all been there, right? Maybe you could be dating
Mm-hmm.
someone, you just don't feel safe with them, like your heart.
Yeah,
From
definitely.
and it's like, it's addictive,
Yeah,
but the body doesn't actually like that. It's because we haven't learnt to love our bodies that we get attached to these sort of relationships out
yeah.
of a place of lack. But yeah, that's what I was getting from what you
A
were
hundred
saying.
percent, 100%. I couldn't, like, I agree with you. I just wanted to also sum up what you have been
Mhm,
saying, and for people to understand as well that our bodies are just as, like, literally behave as a store of energy. Okay.
mhm,
So every single thought and feeling is like, it's going to be stored in your body, you
mhm,
know. Once we talk about, for example, karmic and dark things, okay, it's also related to feelings and thoughts as well, because we are
mhm,
paying something back for not being aware of what we are doing, what we are storing. Okay, so we can, if we want to go further into this as well, diseases, generally speaking, please, generally speaking, diseases could be related to a non-optimal way to use your body.
yep,
Okay.
mhm,
And again, seriously, I'm talking with all the respect, okay, and with all the loving way. But if we are aware of this, we could be taking care more about our body, and also
mhm,
again what we think and what we feel. At the end of the day, the thoughts and the feelings, if we want to actually see somehow, is heard. Like nowadays, it's really common, like to listen something like, um, a specific 5-2 health and all these things.
mhm,
This is exactly what's happened with your thoughts and with your feelings. They get to a level, the vibration is like a certain health that you are going to be operated from,
yeah,
and your body will be on that level as well, depending on what you think and what you feel.
mhm,
Okay, so you are curing yourself, you're actually curing yourself, or you are destroying yourself. It's just
mhm,
that is how this work, and again, guys, we all, Daryl and I, we have to put this into work every single day. Even when we are
yeah,
aware of this, we need to actually remind ourselves every day what we are doing with
mhm,
ourselves. Okay, and also with ourselves as well, which is the most important thing. Okay,
yeah,
is also from more spiritual way. Once ancient wisdom used to talk about the body, what actually is actually the real temple. Okay,
mm,
the
mhm,
real temple, like, in the past, the real temple, like ancient wisdom used to talk, actually, all the wisest people, once they talk about the temple, and I'm going to respect every single religion. Okay, I'm not against the religions or your thoughts about your current religion. It's not
mhm,
about this. I'm just saying that once they talk about this, the main thing in the 3D reality that we could just compare with a temple is our own body. So depending on what you are doing, actually you are creating heaven or hell in your own body.
yes.
You
What?
know, it could be it
Sorry,
could
can
be
you
a
say that
temple.
again? Can you say
Yeah,
that one more time? Can you say that again so people can hear
I'm
you?
telling you, man. I'm telling you. I don't know if I'm gonna repeat the same, but let's try. Let's try. So the concept of a temple, okay, in ancient wisdom and all
Mhm,
religions actually are completely related to your body
mhm,
and what you use your body for. Okay, you can be building a temple in heaven, or you can be building your temple in
yeah,
hell. It's up to you,
mhm,
because at the end of the day, even heaven or hell is just a level of consciousness.
mhm,
But again, I respect all religion. I respect every single belief. Okay.
mhm,
But if we want to go even more a scientific way, if we extrapolate heaven and hell and we want to put it in a graphic for people to say, well, we want to see in a more scientific way, it's just a level of consciousness.
mm. Love
okay? It's just a level of consciousness.
Hmm.
I want to, like people to understand this again with all the respect. But if we want to understand each other, whatever, if you're a Christian or Jewish
Hmm.
or Muslim, man, we are like at the end of the day, it's the same. It's just the love. But
Hmm.
talking about this, take care of your temple. The
Hmm.
most precious temple is not the one you see outside. If you want to talk with your with God or source, come on,
Hmm.
start from your own temple.
100%. Oh, oh, I, I, I love what you're saying right now. You don't, it's, it's like, and again, with all due respect, you know what I mean, to every religion and
Yeah.
every culture, you know, you are the direct link to God, right? And that is what all of the religions were truly trying to say. It's like the underlying sort of tone was can look after your body and connect to God, raise your frequency, raise your level of consciousness, your level of awareness. Be aware of a place where you can feel love for everybody because there's an underlying level of maybe understanding,
Mm,
right? That level of understanding. And you know, Josie, I'm sure you've had this, is when you've gone through your own traumas, when you've gone through the own work, right? It's almost impossible to hold a grudge on other people unless
mm,
they've done you something really bad, right? And then you do
yeah.
have to talk about it. It's really hard to, because you see them truly, you know, you're like, ah, something must have happened to them for them to treat me like this,
Mm,
you know. And again, that's what in the Bible it says, those that live in love live in God,
mm,
right? And
exactly.
it's about, for me anyway, when you raise your frequency, because we have the chakra system, so we can talk about, the first is about stability, then you've got creativity, then you've got the will, and then you've got love, the heart space, you've got expression, you've got being able to see the truth, and then you've got acceptance and letting
Mm,
go, right?
mm,
Very big oversimplification of the chakra system. But when you get to the heart, 'cause they always talk about the gate between heaven and hell, which is the heart chakra, right? The bottom is based on ego. The bottom is when you're being pulled by the body. Everything is personal. You
mm,
know, someone says something to you, it's a personal attack. You're not, you don't have any food. You're gonna die. There's fear that you're gonna die, right? The moment that you feel sexually aroused, you have to actually physically manifest that there and then. So you're just craving, looking at women, and there's this leakage of this like
yeah.
creepy sort of energy. Then there's the ego. I have to be the one that did it. I have to be number one,
Mm,
right? Now,
mm,
all of these things can be used healthily, right? So it's not about not using these things. It's about connecting these things to the heart space. Because then with the heart space, you start to realize that we're one of everybody. So the same way that we have these desires, everybody has these desires. But getting to that place, like you were saying, right, it's really about looking after this temple first.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we haven't got the energy or the time or the space to be able to deal with other people, because I deal with trauma work in my coaching practice, and I say to people, sometimes you have to tell people you've just not got the space to deal
Mm,
with them at that moment. Someone's venting or something like that. So we've got something written in here.
yeah.
The consciousness of the realms of our shadows will guide us to the light of our spirit. Wow.
Thank you, Andrew.
Wow. Sorry. Wow. That is it. Do you know what I mean? Truly, when you deal with your shadow, there's something else on the other side. Just to go on what you're saying. And that is the light. That is the alchemist sort of,
Yeah.
that's what alchemy was.
Yeah.
Alchemy, people thought it was turning literal lead to gold. Okay, maybe. I'm not saying that didn't exist, right? Because maybe it did. But the true alchemy is about transforming the lower base emotions into higher emotions, not by neglecting them, but by recognizing them, by understanding, for example, that I have a deep fear of dying.
Yeah.
That's critical. That's a part of who I
Yeah.
am, right? So the only way to get rid of that fear is by acting to the best of my ability to do the things that will prolong me being on this planet. That's the only way to get rid of the fear. Because I can never know, truly. I can leave my house and car can hit me, right? But I know if I'm eating right, I'm exercising, I've got good connections, with my friends and my family. I'm just doing my best. The fear leaves me, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm able to raise up off of the root chakra, for example, because I'm just doing the work. That energy is there to do the work. And then it might be that creative. So like guilt, right? Having guilt around your sexual urges, for example, then you start saying, well, this energy actually motivates me, right? And then I start to use this energy not to go and just seek women on social media, scrolling, you know, using porn, all of those things, right? You
Yeah.
start being more creative.
Yeah.
You start using this energy, right? And then all of a sudden the guilt goes because then you're recognizing the thoughts are there. You see a beautiful woman, come on,
Yeah.
you can't, I'm not going to poke my eyes out, but
I mean, of course, like we want to say, we love, for example, we love the
yeah.
beauty of a woman. But it's up to you
Mhm.
how to use all that energy from a sense of fear, because at the end of the day, like the
Mhm.
instinct, these kind of things, like the hunting way and all these things, this is actually related to fear. For example,
Yes.
once an animal is gonna eat another animal. Think about, actually, I'm just thinking about this. By hunting, it's just the fear of not having food to eat later. You need to restore that, okay? It's
Mhm.
something natural. But if we go to a level of consciousness to see something from a level of consciousness, we can see the beauty, and we go beyond the beauty, the external beauty. We actually transcend. You are using that
Mhm.
energy to actually see the soul of that person.
Mhm.
Maybe you can even you get to a point that you actually, if you what what that is saying is just working on your energy in a wisely way, okay, in a wiser way. And if you do that, actually you start developing metaphysical skills
Mhm.
that will actually develop the way you see people.
100%.
You might be like you are like just staring at someone, and you even can see beyond matter. So maybe
Mhm.
maybe you're gonna, between quotation marks, you're gonna chase someone completely different to what you were chasing before. So it's not chasing anymore, it's just attracted to something different.
Oh, good Jose.
Yeah.
I'm loving this, and I'll give an example, right, of something I learned recently. Um, and it's in Gran Canaria, right? I'm telling you, there's a point in time I thought something was wrong with me, right? And
Okay.
I'll explain why. I'm, I've got a lot of sexual energy. I'm not afraid to say it, right? So I went to
Me
Gran
too,
Canaria.
mate, me too.
Yeah. I've gone Gran Canaria, and as you know, there was beautiful women everywhere, right? But for some reason, I wasn't rising to the occasion. I don't want to be cross on this, right? And something was like, wow, what's going on? Like I'm generally really calm. And in my head, again, we all have rational fears, guys. So I'm going to expose one of mine. I was like, is something wrong with me? Why do I not want to engage with anybody in any other way? I'm not trying to flirt with anybody. I'm just talking to them about creation, other things like that. And then I remember the first day I came back, and I was like, no, I had to recognize that I'm actually seeing what I can believe I can create with all of these people.
Mm,
And I just thought, for me, I wasn't attracted to the level of creation I could see with any of those people because I just didn't know them.
mhm,
There wasn't that connection there. And so that's like for me, I recognize that energy of what before I was using and it'd be like, oh yeah, she's beautiful. I can create something. It's like a baby. Again, fear, right? That's procreation. It was more, what can I create with them
mm,
as a person? And so it kind of is now forcing me now just to talk to people because you cannot know what you can create with someone until you
mhm.
get to know them,
Yeah.
right? On a deeper level. And so that energy starts to store naturally because your actual desires, right, change because from the body recognizes that there's a better way to use its energy. And you take the time for that to truly enter your cells. So you can't just
Yeah.
happen. once. You have to really sit with it. So I talk about men like taking like 90 days, for example. If you've never done it, take 90 days, no sex, no ejaculating, just sit with your energy. Because the moment your body knows it can use its energy on a higher level, it doesn't want to go back to the
Mm-hmm.
lower energy levels. And what starts to happen with that is the way that you operate, everything, like I said, the way that you see people just changes. You know,
Yeah.
some people that are beautiful physically, but you wouldn't touch them with a barge pole after you talk to them because you're like, I know if I energetically join with this person, right, it's going to be a trauma bond straight away. I don't feel safe. I don't feel
Mm.
secure with this person. And again, as you're going up the energy centers, this is what starts to happen. Your level of safety, right? You don't compromise that for different things. I think the other chakra is the will, the solar plexus.
Mm-hmm.
Some people try to compromise their safety, right? Just to be number one. They can't sit in their house and chill without money or competition because for them,
Mm.
that that unregulated nervous system for them is actually worth doing that because they don't know another way to use that creative energy just to be able to sit down in their home and just to be aligned with who they are as a person, to actually love what they're doing with their day-to-day life. They need external people to validate that. And so
Mm.
even though the nervous system is ramped up and all of
Mm-hmm.
that,
Yeah.
they're still running around. They're not sleeping. They're not eating right. They're not drinking right. They're having all of this sugar and drinking 3 cans of Red Bull just so that they can be the man or be the girl, right? Be number one. But then when you align that system, it's okay, for you to sit down and for you to do what is aligned with your own will, right? How do you want to
Mm-hmm.
live your life? What do you want to do, right? That's for me, that center is that's what I kind of learned with that center. It was like, why am I doing this? Why am I
Yeah.
sacrificing my sleep for all of these things? It doesn't make sense. Why do I have to go to a gym to work out? Right? I bought all the stuff. I said I don't really like going to the gym. I don't like the walk more so than anything else. I just didn't like the walk.
Yeah.
So I bought the stuff. Now I get to use that energy and I don't show my workouts really. I don't need that. I don't need that validation. I like that for myself. Do you know what I mean? I like the way that I look. And then I'm using that energy again from a different perspective. And then when I'm connecting with other people now, I
Yeah.
also put that in alignment. Does that person align with this? Because if they don't, and I start to feel unsafe with them based on my values and how I live my life at home, based on my own value system, I can't be around that person. I can love them,
Mm.
but from a distance,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's super interesting what you were saying about to become the number one and all the things. And maybe I've seen in my life sometimes in that position, like you struggle and you continue and you want to be the number one. And what I realized, and now just you talking about this and how to use your energy wisely as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, in that position, you you want to become the number one for someone else,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
you know you start realizing like you want to become the number one for someone else. It actually is not for you, because otherwise you will be so in tune with yourself that you will know what you need at any single point.
Yep.
You you become so wisely that you understand what you need at every single time. But if that the problem starts when you want to become the number one for someone else, could be from families, for
Mm-hmm.
friends, for relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
becoming that number one, even in business, becoming the number one on that ego perspective actually will make us to attract the fake number one in other people. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Those
Mm-hmm.
that actually those that actually are doing the same.
Yes.
It's just a
And
reflection. It's just a reflection. So the energy work on that is completely broken. It's just a waste of energy,
mm-hmm.
100%, which is another source of a potential disease. all the things that we are talking just become diseases in the long term,
Mhm.
or that you age faster than you should as well. The disease is just not something, for example, like a cancer. Or, it's like I go beyond. A disease could be also like you age way faster than you should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
And of course, how you use your energy, what we are talking about, and actually related to what we already know, the importance of the most important source of energy, that is sexual energies. We need to know about this way more than maybe all of us can achieve right now in knowledge. Is
Hmm.
one of the most important things to discuss, and I think it's a lack of information, and maybe even the information is there, maybe is missing like big pieces
Hmm.
to be understood.
And oh man, I think it's really is the start, is how we use our sexual energy. I think that actually is the start. I think if you're not using your sexual energy correctly, I don't think that you're using your energy correctly at all.
Exactly.
I'll say especially for men, obviously women as well, but I think especially for men, because we actually release something, right? And so if we're doing that, the body actually goes into overdrive, right? To
Mm.
replace the vitamin and the minerals, because there is a philosophy, right, that I follow and I've observed, so I think it's correct, right? But hey, maybe one day it's debunked. Is that there's actually two parts to the energy. You have the water body and then you have the fire body. So the water body actually relates to the lymph in us. So like lymph water. So for those who don't know, there's like a wastage system in our bodies, right? It's called lymph water. So it helps to flush out the system. And then you've got the Kundalini fire, which is the solar body, right? And so what they say is when the sun is in your moon sign, the solar body, which is like your Kundalini fire, which is there's like oh, I forgot the name, but it's like it's called something plasm, some science name, right? It's in the body. They say that they meet, okay, and then there's something that's born within the body, right? Now, the simple terms is that if you use the energy correctly, they say that stem cells are actually produced in your body at mass amounts once a month. But if you do not use your sexual energy, you do not cycle it, right? Rather than these stem cells being used for healing, right? We use that as men to create sperm, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what it does. It can be a stem cell. For those who don't know, it can be any cell in the body. And so when you start to observe these things, and I've seen it, I've seen real healing. My spine realigned working with this energy, guys. So like real healing. I've had two baptisms in two chakras in this year, and you really do feel healing. You really do feel different. Like I feel like I've got a different body, right? And again, this took years of me trying to work it out, observing it, getting into relationships where I'm just, releasing too much because they didn't understand me. I didn't hold
Mm.
true to my will, again, that will center, right? Living the life that I truly want to live because, again, of that fear of them not respecting me more than the fear of me not respecting myself, right? When
Mm.
we start to use and harness this energy, it rises. It cycles within our body, and our body just starts to renew itself every month. It's just renewing itself. It's healing itself. They say this is where this is what the story of the Bible is, or the story of Christ is. Why did he die at 33? Because you have the 33 vertebrae in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's the story of Santa Claus. It's the claustrum, right? It
Yeah.
goes down, then it goes back up, right? When we start to harness this energy, right, and we're not having, especially for men, just ejaculating. For women, is having sex outside of orgasms. That puts you in a state of fear, because the only reason why you would really do that is if you just have to procreate. Like, the body's like the lowest thing to do. Is like, we're gonna die, so we need to make more of us. If
Mm.
you're using that energy incorrectly, but if you start to use that energy correctly, the body starts to go, oh, okay, we're in a time of peace. No one's dying. We can take our time. We can create other things like art, music, buildings. Society as a whole is the biggest geniuses in society are the people that didn't just waste off their energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They had higher desires, right? And my personal belief, again, I could be completely wrong, is that the longer you hold on to this energy, the longer you store it, and you do it through a place of love. So again, it's connecting to people with love, connecting to your partner with love, true love, right? You're not going to just willy-nilly throw out this energy. You're going to be intentional with
Mm-hmm.
even how you're having sex, where you're having sex, when you're having sex, right? Because there's going to be other parts of intimacy that you're going to be focused on with that person. You're going to be focused on understanding their mind, for example. You're going to be understanding how they express themselves. You know, you're also going to let go of all of the attachments that you have for that person so that you can see them become the best version of themselves. This will only come when you don't feel that you have to own them,
Yeah,
you know, because you need them basically as like a human masturbation tool
yeah.
because you're always, that's it. Whenever we see each other, we just have to do that. And again, guys, there's no judgment. I've been that guy. I can't say that it's not hard to do. I can't say that transformation doesn't take time. It's long nights
Yeah,
with no sleeping. You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, of course, of course. It's not, it's tough. It's tough. It's not, it's actually, I would say it's work for really
Mhm.
warriors. That's the real
Yes.
warriors. Seriously. Actually, the easy way is just to release your energy and that's it.
Mhm.
And like just also to sum up what you were saying in another way to say is that imagine for people like me is skeptical a little bit for this topic. Um, Imagine like energy.
Mhm.
Okay, we already know like energy cannot be created,
Mhm.
cannot be destroyed, just transform. So if we can create, we have the power to create life with this energy.
Mhm.
Do you think that can create life inside of you in another realm? This is something that this is something that if people actually ask themselves,
Mhm.
okay, without believing what we are saying, but just by requesting themselves, like
Mhm.
say, this question resonates with my soul or not, you will have
Mhm.
the answer. You will have the answer, and you will have an honest answer that maybe you're gonna accept or maybe not, because I've had this experience, even to myself at the beginning. I say, whoa, that makes so much sense. And I'm talking about years of work on this, okay? And
Mhm.
again, I haven't been perfect on this. I haven't been perfect, okay? We're still humans. We are still like,
Yeah.
100%. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here if we don't need to work on something, okay, in our lives.
Mhm.
So this is a process, as Daryl is saying. It's like it's a process. It's a long process. Actually, I would say it's even healthier to do in a long term because
Yes.
I experience different things that if you want, we can share now as well. I experience different
Go for it.
things that actually almost destroy myself. Yeah,
Mm. Okay. Mhm.
destroy myself. Of course, like you might have some issues with relationship.
Mhm.
I had a problem with relationship when I
Mhm.
started. Actually, I got a woman who introduced me to this knowledge. Okay,
Mhm.
years ago, I couldn't understand at that time, but life put me in a way that ancient wisdom in another in for studies and my own research and also my studies on this and my school on this
Mhm.
brought me again the same wisdom in another way. That's
Mhm.
why we learn. Sometimes we don't learn from
Mhm.
someone, but if we listen, okay, we already store some seeds inside of us, and we listen the same information from another person, we resonate. We resonate
Yeah.
with that.
Mhm.
Same messages, but different messengers make maybe the message simple. That's something. Um, take Yeah, we also recommend taking time. Yeah, someone putting into the group. It's important to take our time because this is a process that you will start experiencing in yourself, and something really critical. The moment that we start using our sexual energies is the moment that our highest egos are gonna pop up.
Yep.
because the same energy is feeding consciousness, but also feeding our egos. And the egos
Mm-hmm.
actually become wiser as well because you are providing the most powerful energy ever created.
100%.
The food is for both. The food is for both. So it's up to you who is gonna eat from one to another one.
Mm, I love that. I love
You
that.
know? Yeah. That's the thing I got into realization once I passed through a really dark time using sexual energies that almost destroyed myself. Okay? I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't
Mm-hmm.
even understand how I was performing with my
Mm-hmm.
family, with my relationship, with seriously, it was literally I got to a point like actually um I couldn't understand myself.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand myself because I was, first of all, I was not transforming the energies properly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's just not storing the energy, but actually transforming it.
Yep.
Because
Bring it
if
up.
you just, yeah, exactly. If you just store them, it's just actually make things even more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a store. Like energy need to move the same as water need to move. Otherwise, like it just goes off. Let's put it into this way. So need to
Yep.
move, need to be transforming something else. So if you're gonna work on this, you're interested in sexual energies and an advice for someone who has been working uh, for several years and is still working on them, still like learning. I need to learn so much still, okay, because it's an endless topic, okay. But one of the most important things is just to go gradually, and it's also super important if you have a relationship or someone, you know, like your partner, that you talk about these things and you understand each other. Maybe you are in different positions right now
Mm-hmm.
according to sexual energies, but to have an honest conversation of the importance of this is essential. Honest
100%.
conversation from your heart, honest conversation. Hey, I want to learn more about this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's gonna be maybe hard at the beginning, but actually, guys, if you both do that, your relationship goes to a super high level, like you cannot even imagine. Because even if let's put it in a more scientific way, men is more electric and women
Mm-hmm.
are more magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
So once you merge these both, which is actually what we are creating from our thoughts and our feelings in the 3D reality,
Yep.
you start intertwine the most powerful energies ever created, you both. So imagine the power of that energy inside of you and also in your life is huge.
100%.
Is huge. Okay, is huge.
Mm. And no, I can't say anything against what you're saying. I'm gonna echo what you were saying. And I want
Please.
to give some tips to people, right? Because again, like you said, if you use energies incorrectly, and I've done it too, where again you have complete and utter energy, right, that you do not know what to do with, right? And so I'm going to give some practical tips on how to use the energy because each chakra, it's simple, but what's simple to do, guys, is simple not to do. So when I say simple, do not equate it to easy. It's just
Mm-hmm.
simple. So, the root chakra is about the fear of death. Really, that's the main fear that the root chakra will do. So the moment that you start storing this energy, you know, if not used correctly, you can actually get quite paranoid, right, about things because the energy is going to be storing in the lower back. It can cause pain in the lower back as well, right? So things to deal with that, right, is about making sure that you're strengthening the body. Basically, work out, right? That's like the first tip. If someone, especially for men, if you're storing all of this seed, right? You need to work out. You need to be active, whether that's lifting weights, learning a martial arts, going to run, right? And then also making sure that you're improving the flexibility of your body as well. because especially in like the lower hips. So using things like yoga, poses like the pigeon pose, other things like that as well helps to channel the the energy, right? So that's the first step, making sure that you're putting it inside of the body because you are going to have an increase of testosterone. You can have more zinc in the body, more magnesium, all of these other vital minerals. So use them, right? Otherwise, it's just going to store in the lower body. Then, right, for your sacral chakra, you have to kind of get rid of addictions. If you feel guilt about anything, if you know you're doing something that is wrong and it's a part of your daily habit, right, that's guilt. You will feel guilt for that.
Mm.
Your energy will not be able to rise past the sacral chakra fluidly. Again, there's going to be resistance. Some will go through, especially if you're dealing with the sexual energy and you're just storing it stubbornly, right? Some will go through, but it's going to store, it's going to pull in that area because it's blocked by your guilt. Okay, so it's taking that time to kind of cut the addictions. No one's saying don't do certain things. No one's saying never drink again, right? No one's
Yeah,
saying that.
exactly.
But if you have a crutch that you're holding on to, cigarettes, I don't know, weed, alcohol, whatever people are doing, whatever the addiction is, it might not even be a physical drug because anything you're ashamed of, right? You have to start dealing with that. That's like the second step. So first step is looking after your body, growing the body. Second step is getting rid of your addictions, getting rid of the things that make you feel guilty. So if whatever that is, if it's relationships with your children that you haven't built properly, these things are going to start coming to light to you, right? As you are focusing on, again, looking after the body, it's going to tell you we don't emotionally, because again, that's the emotional body. Now we're going into with the sacral chakra. It's going to say, actually, don't emotionally feel good about the relationship you have with this person. So you have two options. You fix the relationship or you can cut it. Because depending on how the other person's going to respond as well, that person may just not be for you. And so you let go with love, cut the cord with love. Say, I release you and all of the emotions I held towards you with love. And I call back that power to myself. Then the first chakra is the will, right? Now, the will is about you acting on what you really want to do in life, right? Right? So it's blocked by, let's see, I'm not remember what they say traditionally it's blocked for, so I'll just give my personal experience with this one. You just have to act on the things that your will. Like if you want to do something, don't hold back, right? So if it's a good thing, so make sure you're not hurting people. But if you have a dream, if you have a goal, if you have a business idea, these things, after you're not feeling as much guilt facing other things, start acting on that. Start not straight away, but whether it's write out your business plan, start to visualize it, start to go towards that goal. Don't let because otherwise what will happen is that you will seek validation externally,
Mm.
right? Because that's the ego body now. So you're going to be like, I want to be number one. Da, da, da. Look at my artwork because you're using your creativity, right?
Yeah.
And you're not guilty, so you're being more creative. Look at this art piece. I should be number one. External validation. But when you go and say, no, my art has an actual purpose. What is that purpose now? What is my creativity being used for? If it's that I like to write, if it's that I like to sing, why do I like to do these things? When you focus on acting on that, right, that energy then goes internally, right? You are then saying, I'm building myself for myself. A lot of people, they're so connected to everybody else, right, that they're not connected to what their work is. I believe everybody came here with a job, a spiritual job, a soul contract, if you want to call it
Yeah.
that, right? And so you have to align yourself with that soul contract in the dark. What I mean by in the dark is it's the stuff you're meant to do that no one else sees. you know, that you kind of know you're meant to do these things, right? You do that, focus on them. That will help raise that energy here. The heart is about acceptance, it's blocked by grief, right? And grief is not always someone physically dying. You can grieve relationships, you can grieve your old self, right? So it could be that you go back and say, I'm not smoking anymore, I'm not drinking, I've lost so many friends, all of that sort of stuff. And yeah, healing the shame that binds us, the root cause of all addictions. 100%, 100%,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew. I'm loving your
Yeah,
comments, by the way.
yeah. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. You know,
amazing.
all addictions come from you needing something that that drug is giving you that you don't know how to create yourself. That's the only reason why you're addicted to it. Because the body is amazing. It will seek what it needs regardless. If it finds a way of getting it, right, it's our jobs to show the body that there is a better way to get it. So if you have to smoke a cigarette every day, for example, that's dopamine. That's what nicotine and dopamine. So the hit is actually dopamine that is taking. So it's actually saving the brain for something, right? So you then need to find a way to get that dopamine in a healthy way so that you don't need the cigarette anymore, right? And then that's the transitionary period. That's why it might take some time. But from you really know how to get it, from you found it at that moment, I would say just go for it. Sometimes just burn what needs to burn because over time, it's like there's a law that I've learned. And I thought what book I read it in, but it's like from you know something, you kind of have to act on it because then it brings you back to the guilt place because now you know better. Now you're not doing
Mm,
better and you know better. You're going to fall down because you're going to feel guilty about the fact that, oh, I'm smoking a cigarette. I know I can do this now outside of smoking a cigarette, but I have to do it. You're going to feel guilt about that, you know? And I think, yeah, shame. Thank you. The willpower, shame. It's blocked by shame. The heart is grief, right? Don't grieve. Let things go. You know what I mean? Truly show love, right? And let go of everything with love. You know, so it's about being positive and seeing that positivity on the other side, right?
mm,
And what I've learned is that because there's a lot of bottom up approaches with our Kundalini energy, but there is a practice in like it's like Christian esotericism. And they say that you should do 6 basic exercises for the heart chakra first, because it then guides the rest of the energy, even if it's going out of whack. So it's about things like directing your will positively, right? Being aware of people that are around you. So again, just in developing emotional intelligence, basically. And it's saying to focus on that. That's the basics of what you're doing. Because then as your sexual energy rises and as the spiritual energy falls, because again, there's two sides to this, guys, right? The heart allows you to direct it outwards to people. So at least you're at a place where you're always showing love, which helps to temper the energy. I see love as the bricks of this spiritual
mm.
energy, you know, because it can get a lot. And then you've got the throat. So it's about expressing your truth, right? And it's blocked by lies. And I say a funny joke, but I don't believe it's the lies you tell other people. I think it's the lies you tell yourself,
Mm,
right? That really actually blocks that chakra because obviously if you're telling stories or telling jokes, obviously it might be a level of lying in a joke because you've created something out of thin air,
mm,
right? But if you're not lying to yourself, you're able to express yourself with power. With your tone doesn't need to change as much. You know, when you listen to people that are speaking, if they start sounding in what they're saying like they're asking a question, you can tell that they actually don't believe in what they're saying because
mm,
their tone here isn't able to maintain it because they know they're lying, if that makes sense. And so, again, that's how you go through. Don't lie to yourself and express yourself, express the truth, even if it's hard, express it, right? And that's, I think you was talking about that when you're talking about if you're in a relationship and you start this journey, you need to express that to your
yeah.
partner because the honest thing is that if they're not on it, if they don't want to do this journey with you, the likelihood is you're going to have to leave that relationship because it's impossible to do it in a relationship if the other person is not on the same journey as you. It's not just hard, it's impossible because your level's just going to be,
Yeah.
you know, it's just going to change. And so you just have to have an honest conversation and be like, are you willing to do this with me? Yes or no. If they're not, you just have to go, you know? And again, you
Something,
don't,
some- something I want to just add to this, and
please,
I've loved everything you've said. Um, is one of my teachers from ancient wisdom wisdom. I need to honor him right now, and I hope that he's picking this message.
Hmm.
He told me just to actually support those people, like they might have like differences between these,
Hmm.
okay, the sexual energies and how to apply it, because everything that happened for a male also happened for a female, but in another way,
Yeah.
okay. So this for both. And something he told me, he said to me, and again, it's with all the respect, but and remember, when I talk about heaven and hell, it's just level of consciousness, okay? He
Hmm.
told me once, sometimes the person who is in heaven needs to go to hell to rescue the another partner.
Mm.
I'm saying, take out heaven and hell and put, if you are more conscious that your couple or your relationship, be aware that you might need to go to hell to rescue your partner and go to heaven, but it will be a
Mm.
process.
Hmm.
Okay, I learned this from my own pain. I learned this from
Mm.
my own pain,
Hmm.
because again, this is something that I had my own experience on this, and
Hmm.
that's why I can even share it from a let's put it like more um, technical, but also personal.
Experience.
Yeah, exactly. The experience.
Hmm.
It's all about the experience. So maybe just you are just reminding that person something that their souls already know, but they
Hmm.
don't want to accept.
Hmm.
Okay, so this process needs to be, you can be with someone that at the beginning they don't want to share that path, but maybe on the way, if it's love, if it's always love, and you actually, all the things that you are saying is just developing to be in tune with yourself, so you will know more if that person is aligned to you or not as well on this path, but they might not be at the same level as you right now.
Hmm.
That can be possible. Okay, so I want to be benevolent with those people, like maybe they're in a relationship and they
Hmm.
want to implement these, and maybe one of the person in the relationship say, I don't want to do this. They're honest, but maybe one will be start working and
Hmm.
another one not. But on the way, maybe even with the process and with the feelings and with what you are experiencing, you start actually that person can be even higher later on.
Hmm.
You
I
know,
I guess for me, I think it's the willingness. I think if
is the
someone's
willingness.
unwilling, yeah, because
Yeah,
I've been in relationships and the person's not willing. And what ends up
yeah,
happening is, eventually you go into hell and then you go back into hell and you go back into hell. And then you're trying to raise and you go back into hell. And they try
yeah,
to raise and then there's like massive arguments and then it might get to a
yeah,
stage for me, like I was talking at a level and it was like, I don't need the sex, for example. I was saying this, I don't need the sex. I think you were going through something, right? And I'm just here for you, right? It doesn't have to be sexual. And
yeah,
they said, I don't understand what you're saying. Like
yeah,
they couldn't grasp the concept. And so I think at times, if you're married, that's different. I think, do you know what I mean? So I think obviously you have to really weigh out where
yeah,
where
is different.
where you are. But a lot of times I think even when you are trying to go, like, because when you think about the crown chakra, it's about letting go. So if you
Yeah,
let go of the ownership, I think you start saying that person's on their own separate journey. It's not that I'm gonna let go of them forever, but for now, I'm gonna
hmm,
truly let go of them with love. So I
yeah,
think that's what love for me, love is without ownership. And that's just a personal thing. When you let go of the ownership, it's like I don't have to hold the title of being your partner. I'm
hmm,
going to stay by you, right, spiritually. But if it's going to, again, if you keep pouring water into a bottomless well and there's no bottom to the well, it doesn't matter. It's just a bottomless well
yeah,
at the
yeah,
end of
yeah.
the
I completely understand, but also, let's not put like all the pressure on people. Like, oh, if they don't do it at the same time, like this,
day.
you need to get rid of that relationship. guys, we are talking about this because that's really cool. Like we are sharing different perspective. Actually,
Yeah,
we agree with what we say each other. But it's just
100%.
giving different
Yeah.
perspective from different experiences, and also we all learn from each other as well, and we maybe don't make the same mistakes as maybe we have done it, you know. So this is just to support you, and maybe you are gonna see, you're gonna be in Darren's position, you're gonna be in my position, and you will say,
Hmm.
I love this person. For example, from my point of view, I love this person, but she or he is not willing to do this.
Hmm.
Okay, the communication. First of all, remember that
Hmm.
the most important thing, actually, you have mentioned as well, you know, like from the chakra. Definitely, you cannot be like enlightenment. Let's put it into this way without just working before on this. Okay, if we want to go into
Hmm.
levels. Okay,
Yeah.
so the communication, you will see way beyond once you work on your communication, and this
Hmm.
and the sexual energies are the most, I would say, the most important energies that we can work on. So be benevolent. You can go, as we are saying, we can go from heaven to hell, and of course, do not get burned. Definitely, as you were saying in
Yeah.
another way, do not get burned. Otherwise, you can fall and just stay there. That's super important. But
Yes.
be also compassion for those who are
Hmm.
not at your level. And when I'm talking about level, is not better or worse. It's just responsibility.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay, in the spiritual world, I could see before as levels because was my ego telling me, oh, the levels. But the levels actually is equal to responsibilities. So you are more responsible maybe on the relationship. If you want to work on that, you're going to be way more responsible than another person, and this person might not even understand anything at all. But it's up to
Hmm.
them if they want to actually be willing, as Dario is saying, willing to learn, willing to be open to something different, willing to be open to a really ancient wisdom, because we are talking about
Hmm.
ancient wisdom. Okay, look, we are talking about something was taught in the era of like the Egypt, even before that. But this is for another
Yeah.
day. We will talk about this. We don't go so far away, but it's super important to respect this wisdom,
Hmm.
to respect yourself, and to respect your body as well. Okay, what you do, what you use your body for.
100%. 100%. Respecting your body, respecting your nervous system. I think that's what I think would be the critical factor. And we can rap about this as well. Is if that person gives you the space to feel safe in your practice, then it's fine.
Mm,
I think that's the most important thing because I think if you're out, if because the moment your nervous system, like you're always unregulated. You can't control the energy anymore because you're always unregulated. And so
mm,
if they're able to hold that conversation with you, so let's say as a man or as a woman, you're like, all right, I want to go on this practice, and they're not just trying to gloss it over, right? Sometimes using sex, because men and women do this, right? Rather than actually talking to you, you have an argument, you have this big fight, you're saying, no, I want to store my energy. They're like, no, I don't want to do it. Why the hell would you do that? It's an argument, it's a fight, and then it ends up you having sex, right? What they're doing is they're just covering over the problem.
mm.
And you might do that. Everyone's done that. Everyone's been there. So again, there's no judgment. It's just that's what happens. You cover it over. And so again, if you want to talk about the systems, the moment you're just using sex, you're in the lower chakras again. You're in the root, right? Rather than holding a conversation, an honest conversation, which is here. So it's sitting down with the person and having that back and forth and saying, how do we work this out? In this practice, no one's going to say, I'm just never going to ejaculate again as a man, for example.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
you have a process. You can be like, no, it's fine. We're either going to try to do this together, but I'm going to be able to say to you, for example, oh, I'm about to release, calm down. And she says, oh, I'm ready to do that with you. Then you can work it out. So I think that's the most important thing with every relationship is being able to work out a midpoint. Because if you do
Yeah.
not feel safe, right, that's the most important thing. If you do not feel safe with someone, that doesn't matter if it's friends, family, partners, that's where I personally would draw the line for everybody. You have to feel safe with that person. Your nervous system has to be able to go back to a place of peace
Hmm.
with that person. because otherwise your nervous system is going to be traumatized. And again, trauma is stopping that energy from flowing within the body.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that it's doing that, it's it's just a downward spiral to disease. And if you're holding more energy, it's easier to develop diseases because you manifest things quicker the more energy that you have. And so you've got all of this heightened energy, and then at the same time, it's expressing itself negatively because of other people. You can get sick very quickly. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I did a cord cutting 2 weeks ago. Might be a week actually. I think it was the week before last. Honestly, I did the cord cut and I started vomiting for 2 days
Mm.
because the body was just. I was like, I need to let this go, and the body was like, Yeah, you sure?
Mm.
I'm like, Yeah, I wrote it out, burnt the paper. I released with love. My body was like, Yeah, okay, cool, let's let it
Yeah.
go. It was relentless. It was both ends. It didn't play. So again, it's important that you look after yourself in these
Yeah.
things because if your energy is rising, you need to make sure that you are able to regulate so that you're able to manifest what you want to manifest because you'll manifest things quickly, like based on your thoughts,
Yeah.
feelings, emotions, and actions.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. What a conversation. Hey, many things to people to grab, and even us, of course, even us.
Man, yeah,
Um,
pleasure.
yeah, like this is maybe we can even share another time
Mm-hmm.
even more information about this because I'm just feeling like we can even talk for hours.
Same, same.
Yeah, yeah, we can talk for hours, and like some people have been like super engaged on the conversation, asking things, commenting.
Yes.
So yeah, so much gratitude for that, and yeah, um, guys, something I would say that Dario and I can agree completely is to something that really, really, really high, can rise your vibration is the sexual energies. We can talk about many things that many people can tell you, but again, imagine how powerful they are that they can create life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a concept that firstly needs to be understood
Mm-hmm.
for us to apply in our lives. Okay, and the more we understand, the more our belief grows on this journey. And again, as Dario is saying, it's like it's not that you are not gonna have any more orgasm or something like this. Okay, even I would say it's super healthy that something I didn't do, but it's super healthy that if you don't share this with your partner, you start actually dealing, saying, maybe I'm just gonna be in your terms 1 day a week, for
Mm-hmm.
example, or 2 days a week, and you start from there and you
That's
start
it.
increasing. It's like a dealing. It's a, I mean, of course, don't get me wrong. It's not a contract like you're gonna sign, but it's between you guys. It's between you.
Mm-hmm.
It's your time. It's the most amazing time you can have with someone.
Yes.
The interconnection you have is the most powerful. Okay, it's just two temples getting into one. This is a concept that
Mm-hmm.
actually you are connected to God. You merge two temples in the 3D reality. The duality actually create one. This is, if we want to see in another perspective, it's just you are mixing two temples, creating one. Okay, and sexual energies is the way for you to be closer to God or source. Okay, no matter you call it, if you want to go for more scientific way or more esoteric, it's up to you. But
Mm-hmm.
is the interconnection of the most powerful energies ever created. Okay, this is the most important thing, and yeah, be also be let's put it into this way. Let's be patient as well.
Mm-hmm.
I will be patient for those who don't understand,
Mhm.
or they don't want to see, because this also happened. They don't want to see on purpose. Say, I don't want to refuse my pleasure. Of course, that's happened and it's normal. It's for so many years. Like no one has told us about this. Like now you are telling me like I'm gonna refuse every single day to have, this pleasure in 3D, in 3D, in 3D, because the pleasure is in 3D. Maybe you have another pleasure in 5D and you might not even aware of yet. Okay. But in 3D, hey, I was there. And again,
Um,
I'm not perfect on this. I'm not perfect on this. Okay. I'm not like the master of the universe in sexual energies, but I do my best
mhm.
because of my belief and also my understanding, not because someone has told me like this is important to do. No, it's my comprehension about this knowledge. It's
Mhm.
my understanding about myself, is understanding and even putting in a spiritual logical way, because the spirit also has logic, but we need to go beyond the mind to understand that. We need to go from our heart and we will know if something
Mhm.
is true or not. So if this
100%.
information resonates with you, it's because something is connecting with your heart and not with your mind.
Yes, I love that. And I think before we go, the only thing I'll add is that it's not even about removing the pleasure. That's not what it's about. It's removing the release for men.
Yes, yes, I
You
love
actually are
that.
able to have more pleasure. Trust me. It just takes time,
Yeah.
right? But at the end, guys, especially for the brothers out there, because women are naturally orgasmic. When that energy flows through your body, yeah, you'll know that it's the right way to go forward.
But it's for
Truly,
both. It's for both. For both
yes.
genders, actually. Yeah, we will talk another day about this as well. And yeah, 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 yeah. Women, you are not out of this. You are in
That
the
is,
same box.
yeah, I mean, you become like how women can go over and over. You just become like that. It's just a
Yeah,
journey to get there,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
comes with some restriction at the beginning. But
yeah,
again, heaven on earth.
yeah.
So,
Exactly, exactly. And it's funny, it's funny, like, it's funny that in this process I've seen more women refusing this than men. Mate, like seriously, it's like
mhm,
like normally it's like the competition about men, like to
mhm,
last and all these things, and but in these terms, actually has been funny from my own experience.
mhm.
Women are the one that actually refuse the most to this.
Yeah, that's we can go in on that, and I will, because I'm very cognizant of the time. It's been like an hour and a half and I'm
Yeah,
loving
yeah,
this
it's true. It's
conversation.
true. Yeah,
They've been taught, women have been programmed to think that men's pleasure comes from the release, and
mm,
so it's for them, they actually think they're doing us. For them, they actually just want to please us, right? And they're
yeah, yeah,
thinking that when we go on this journey, we're removing ourselves from the pleasure, right? And I
yeah,
think it was a switch into psychology of understanding that this is actually more pleasurable for men when they do it, because we have full body orgasms rather than just
yeah,
having ejaculatory orgasms. So it makes it better for us and it makes it better for them. But it's a physical reprogramming for men, it's a mental reprogramming for women.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah, 100%. Yeah.
so yeah. Let's go up. We're gonna book you another one of these, guys.
Yeah.
So I love talking to you, Jose. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
amazing.
likewise, Dario. Yeah, that's
Um,
likewise.
so guys, I hope you've had some real value from this. Jose's also got a course, guys, as
Yeah,
well. So go into his page, follow him, get the course. We've only touched on little
yeah,
things, here. There's just so much more to this world. If you guys want any form of coaching around these sort of things, holistic health, trauma, etc., I got you. I also know that Josie does talks as well. He does a lot of things. Check his site out. Honestly, we love you
yeah,
guys truly, and remember that you're perfect by design. Is there anything that you'd want to say before we log
Just
off, Jose?
blessings and thank you so much for this time. It's always a
Yeah.
pleasure, a pleasure in 3D, a pleasure to have this conversation, to share some time, to share some quality time. This was one of the most important thing. Okay, to
Yeah.
use our energy wisely as we are.
Hmm.
I think and I feel that we are
Yeah.
doing for us and for other people. And yes, see you at the next one, guys. If you want to know about more what I do, you can go to www.zenergist.com. Okay, is an amazing course there for actually conscious families, new teachers of the world, and you can check it out. Like it's worth it. I guarantee you that. And if you just want to just follow and be in touch, just follow me on Instagram. On this might appear here. So yeah, but it has been an absolutely pleasure
It has.
to have this conversation, and hopefully we'll repeat.
We will.
People, please join us at the next one. Will be this is just the best is yet to come.
That is it. That is it. Again, we love you all, guys, and we'll see you again soon.
See ya.
Bye.